Hi everyone, I am Punya Aggarwal and let's start with the last question of your AA pre-December 25 mock, which is your substantive procedures related question. We have already done all of the questions for section A and 1 and 2 of section B. So you can go and check out those videos in the playlist. So let's begin. Now this is a very crucial question because I know a lot of people do get very scared of substantive procedures, and I understand that this is a common scenario with a lot of students. It's not common, it's just not with you specifically. If you're watching this video, it's with everybody. So quick tips I have: firstly, I have made a lot of videos for substantive procedures already on YouTube. There's a playlist which is known as ACCA resources. Please go and check out that playlist that has a lot of resources, especially for substantive procedures. So you will get something for yourself and you will be able to understand something or the other which is troubling you right now for SP. Now, quick background about SP. I would just say that first of all, if you are somebody who has learned substantive procedures, you have done the biggest mistake of your life, because substantive procedures account for 20 to 25% of your entire paper, and this includes section A also. So technically even more. So if you have learned the procedures, I'm so sorry to say, but you will, out of this 25%, if I take on an average, you're going to score only 5 to 6 marks, which is really less. People who have scored 49 know the essential or know the importance of that 1 mark also. So please make sure that you're not rote learning substantive procedures. They are for understanding and they have to be written as per the case scenario only. You cannot rote learn them at all, right? Then the next thing is, if it is a 6 marker question like this one, try and write 3 to 4 case specific. I will show in this particular video how to write case specific procedures, and rest 1 or 2 can be the general procedures, of course. How to write complete substantive procedure is always answer 3 questions, which is what, why, and how. So what is basically the verb: recalculate, review, discuss. All of these are your verbs. Then why are you doing it is your assertions like valuation, completeness, existence, accuracy. All of these: presentation, disclosures, rights, obligations, reasonableness, assumptions. All of these are the reason why you're performing that procedure. And how is, how are you going to review? So probably obtain supporting documentation or compare to particular documentation, sales invoices, purchase orders, etc. So these, if your substantive procedure, be it specific, be it general, if it contains these 3 question answers, your substantive procedure is 80%, 80 to 90% absolutely correct, right? So please make sure that you're following these tips. And for more detailed analysis or detailed tips or understanding of substantive procedures, you can go and check out my videos out on YouTube under the ACCA resources portion. All right, let's start with our reading of the case scenario. Then I'll one by one show you the answers. I have already written the answers for you so that we don't waste time by typing them out. Rather, we can, utilize that time to understand the substantive procedures better. All right. So the first the question says that we need to write the substantive procedures. They have now also given us the assertion. So existence and valuation for trade receivables. Now, if you see over here in the question, we have 3 major headings. One is trade receivables, one is land and building, one is director's remuneration. So when I am reading the question, I am not going to read these 2 right now, because my question only requires me to write for trade receivables. So I'm not going to waste my time reading these 2. These I'll read later on. Right now, my full focus has to be in here and the first paragraph over here. Now the next thing which is to be seen is that it is asking you, they have given you that they want you to write the assertions for existence and valuation. That does not mean that you cannot write for the other assertions. Of course you can write, but your 6 marker answer has to contain existence and valuation assertion for sure, and then 1 or 2 you can write the other ones as well. That's absolutely fine. So let's start by reading the introduction first, and then we'll read the trade receivables as well. So it is 1st of July, as I always say, the timelines are really essential. You are the audit supervisor of Wedel and Company and the final audit of Walker Company for the year ended. So the year end is 31st of March. So you're sitting May, you're sitting after the year end. Walker Company is a listed company. So very important thing, that it is listed, it's not unlisted. Which manufactures confectionery. The company's profit before income tax, so profit before income tax for the year ended is 34, for the year ended is $3.2 million. So PBT have been given to us, and total assets have been given to us is $22.7 million. The following matters have been brought to your attention. So let's now first read this, and then I will show you my substantive procedures also for the same. Walker Company's draft financial statements as at 31st May 2005 show an increase in trade receivables. So first thing is that there is an increase in trade receivables. All right, let me highlight it for you people. Okay, and a decrease in allowance for the receivables as compared to prior year. Now here I see a red flag. Now what is the red flag is, you people also might be seeing the same thing, but let's see how many of you are able to identify. Now, the red flag, two things I can see. One thing is, if my trade receivables have increased, that is, my revenue or my sales is increasing. So, basically, my customer base is increasing. So, technically, if there are more number of customers, there's more number of trade receivables, more amount I have to receive from large number of customers, there's a higher possibility that I will be having more bad debts than when I had lower customer base. What that means is that, for example, in the initial time, at time A, you were having five customers, so you were receiving the receivables from five different people. Now when your base has increased, when your revenue is increasing, customer base is increasing, probably the amount is also increasing, so now you have 10 customers, so now you're receiving the amount from 10 different people. So now there is a possibility higher over here that two people out of 10 will default. Here probability is 1.1 out of 5 people will default in the payment. So technically, when your receivables is increasing, your sales is increasing, your trade receivables increasing, your allowances for bad debts should also increase, because bad debts can also increase. So simultaneously, allowances should also increase. But they are saying that they are decreasing the allowance A. And from previous year also they are decreasing it. So not just because of this particular thing they're decreasing, but from the previous year also they're decreasing, even though there was an increase in trade receivables. So you are going to use this case specific thing into your substantive procedures. I will show you how, right? First of all, understand the case study. All right. As a result, as a result, a lack of responses in prior years, the audit engagement partner has decided that a trade receivable circularization will not be performed this year. Again, they are giving us a red flag. They are saying, because we know that whatever third party confirmations that we can get, that's the most reliable form of evidence that we can obtain as auditors. But they are saying that trade receivable circularization will not be performed this year. Again, red flag for us. We'll ask why this is happening to ascertain the reasonableness again. Instead, she has asked you to identify alternative procedures to confirm the existence and valuation of trade receivables. So they are saying that we will not be doing trade receivable circularization. Instead, we will doing other procedures. Now, one thing, guys, very commonsensical thing this is, all right. So I was evaluating the mock of a student, and I have come across multiple different scripts in the previous quarters also when such a scenario is there. Now clearly the engagement partner is saying we are not going to perform the receivable circularization here, very case specific. But because the student have rote learned by heart about the trade receivable SP from their notes or from the tutor notes, from the common procedures, etc., they still write it that perform the receivable circularization for XYZ. Guys, it is so commonsensical. In the question, they're writing that we will not be doing the receivable circularization. That's a no. And we will be doing alternative procedures. So technically, you as a student, you have to write alternative procedures. You don't have to write the receivable circularization. But because student ignore the full case study and they just write the rote learn procedures into the answer and thinking they'll get full marks. Oh my God. But ultimately they get zero, right? This is very commonsensical. So that is the reason. Please make sure that you are reading the question and writing the substantive procedures as per that only. Okay. So it was a 5 marker. Oh, it's not a 5 marker. It's a 6 marker. Sorry. It's a 6 marker. So technically you should be done in 9 to 10 minutes in the exam, but right now when we are practicing, 7 to 8 minutes is the maximum that you should take for this particular types of questions. All right. Okay. Now let's understand each and every in detail. I have written how many? I've written 12 for you people. You have read 6. So I've given you multiple options that you can choose from. I have also given general ones. I have given case specific ones. I have also made general to specific ones so that I show you variety of substantive procedures that can be made from such a small paragraph. A lot of people come up to me and say that, ma'am, in the question, very limited information was given. How can we write the procedures? This is how you can write the procedures. And mind you guys, if you check out the examiner answers, you won't find these in there, because these I have written on my own, and these I have written with very simple language. You won't find any jargons over here. Very simple, easy to understand language, and these you won't be finding anywhere because I've written on my own. All right. So let's obtain a schedule. So basically, when we are talking about, oh my god, wait. Oh, sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry. This was the answer number 22. I'm so sorry. Yeah, let's start with this. I've written 8 out of, you only have to write 6. I've written 8. Let's see. Okay. First one is discuss with the finance director. Now if I go back here, I see that they have decreased the allowances. So of course, the finance director is mainly the person who would be doing it. You can also write management. If you want to keep it general, you can write management. I have written finance director because this forte of trade receivables allowances is mainly for the finance director, right? The basis for decrease. So now I'll be asking the management or the finance director, what is the basis that why have you decreased the allowances? Given the increase in receivables, so given that there is an increase in the receivable balances, I will discuss with them what is the basis for your decrease in allowances. Tell me what is the reason why I have decreased it and why I will be doing it to evaluate the reasonableness of any change in assumptions being made. So discuss is my verb, which is what. To ascertain the reasonableness is the question, the answer to why. And how am I going to discuss is to talk about the basis for the decrease, talk about the increase in receivables, and then evaluate the same thing. So this is case specific. Why? Because I talked about decrease in allowances, I talked about increase in receivables. These two words I have taken from the question itself. I have taken from the questions, increase, allowances for compared to the prior year. All of these I have taken from the question, written them into the answer. Make it case specific. 1 mark gotten. I don't think so there was any problem over here. You can also write discuss with management, finance director of Walker company. Again, case specific, right? Next, for slow moving aged balances, so basically we're talking about the irrecoverable balances. Basically, review customer correspondence to assess. Now I hope that you people know the difference between trade receivable circularization and customer correspondence. Please guys, it's very important to assess whether there are any invoices in dispute or unlikely to be paid. Discuss with the management of Walker company. Now if you see, this is very general. This has nothing to do with my question, right? But still, how did I make it specific to the case? I just wanted it to, so I wrote the question name. Mind you guys, again, a lot of people, because they want to find shortcuts everywhere, so what they tell me is, ma'am, if I write the general ones and I write the question name in each and every one, it is case specific only? No, absolutely not, my dear. It's not. You cannot fool the examiner are much more experienced than you, right? So of course, in one or two, wherein you're anyway writing the general ones, you can just include question name, but do not write in every case specific, in every substantive procedure, right? Then select a sample of year-end receivable balances of Walker company. So year-end receivable balances we can take. Agree to the supporting documentation of sales invoices, GD, and so we'll just do comparison to check if that balance actually exists. So I'm going to compare with multiple different documentation to check if that balance which I have recorded actually exists. Why? Because my question specifically said that I have to talk about the existence assertion also, right? So that has been tested over here. So this is done. This is also general, right? Now, Discuss with the audit engagement partner the reason why the receivable circularization will not be performed and obtain its reasonableness. Again, I have taken the statement from here that they are saying that it will not be performed. So what is the reason? Why is it not going to be performed? I am going to evaluate that. So that is my case specific procedure. So 1 mark over here. I'm not counting this right now because I want you people to write as many case specific procedures you people can write, right? Next one. Inspect post year end cash receipts from June and July 2025. Why? Because my year ended on 31st of May. I am sitting on 1st of July. So I will be evaluating the scripts, the things from June and July for this year to confirm the receivable balance at this was subsequently settled to ensure valuation. So basically, my year end is happening on 31st of May. So technically, my all the balances, the receivable balances should be settled by 31st of May. So I am going to see all the cash receipts that I've gotten in June and July because they can be for the May ones, right? To see if everything has been collected by me. I have received all the amounts. There's no bad debts. To check the valuation of the receivables mentioned in the financial statements is absolutely correct or no. So what I have done over here is I've used these 2 months and this month, the financial year, to make it case specific. 1 mark. Next. Agree. Let's skip this one. Let's move to this one. Recalculate the allowance for receivable using Paul Walker's policy. So they have their policy and compared to the current year decrease. So current year there has been a decrease to assess if the provision is understated to ascertain the valuation. So see if the you can either here you can also write about the warranty. The allowances. Sorry, allowances to see if the allowances is understated to ascertain if it is valued correctly or no. So I'm going to recalculate all of the allowances that they have calculated, which is the decrease from the previous year. And then I'm going to see if it is understated by any chance and check if the valuation is correct or no. So this was general when you compare 2 years, but I've made it case specific using the terminology from the question itself. So this is also going to fetch me 1 mark. Next, compare current year versus prior year receivable balances to investigate significant reasons for significant increase. So now they also said that there is an increase in the trade receivables. They said right here that there's an increase in trade receivables. So again, I'm not just going to write the compare the significant differences. Of course, there is significant decrease, and that significant decrease is significant increase, right? Identifying any unusual or unsupported balances to check the existence for the same, right? So this is general, again made specific. I've used the general which I find in any other answers, and use the same terminologies from the question to make it more case specific. Again, 1 mark for this one as well. So if you see, I've written how many as per the case. I've written 1 here. Let's skip this one. It's not really specific. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 I've written specific and 2 and can be general out of 6. So you see the proportion. Rather than writing 1 or 2 as case specific, I've written 4 as case specific and 2 only for the general ones. So this is how a balance should be maintained. And if you see as a student also, guys, if you diligently work upon this, it's not a difficult job to write these. It's not at all difficult, right? Please do your hard work. Please avoid shortcuts, because if you are doing shortcuts, learning them, your marks will also come in shortcut only. All right. Chalo, let's move to the next question. Okay. Okay. Display the substantive procedures the auditor should perform, obtain sufficient appropriate evidence to the revaluation of land and buildings and the recently purchased warehouse. It's a 5 marker. So again, 5 marks. So I was correct over here. It was not a mistake. This is actually question number 23. So 9 minutes and 7 minutes when you're practicing. So technically for 5 marks, I have written so many points for you because I wanted to give you that particular, basically I just wanted to make sure that you have ample amount of examples with you for case specific general ones as well, right? Okay. Let's read the question now. Walker Company has a policy of revaluing land and buildings. Okay, that's fine. This is undertaken on rolling basis over 5-year period. So the revaluation happens over the period of 5 years. So I can use this rolling basis. I can use 5 years. I can use during the year Walker Company requested an external valuer to revalue a number of properties, including warehouse purchase. So again, third point can be external valuer who will also be revaluing the recently purchased warehouse. So new warehouse has been purchased. Fourth, purchased in September 2004. Depreciation is charged on pro rata basis 5. Five things I can gauge. Let me highlight them for you. First of all, they have their own policy for the revaluation of land and building. 1 point. Undertaken on rolling basis. So that is another point. Over it happens over a period of 5 years. Another point. During the year requested external valuer. My fourth point. One, two, three, fourth point. There was a new new warehouse which I purchased in September 2005. Fifth point, depreciation is charged on pro rata basis because it has been purchased during the year end of September 2004, right? During the year it was purchased. So technically, depreciation should be prorated to the number of months that are left to the year end, right? So let's now see your answers. I will not be reading out the general ones. I have written in bracket. You will be able to find this PDF in the drive link. So you can again read it. I don't think that there's any need for me to read the general ones. I mainly want to show you the case specific ones. Let's see. Let's read this one. Third point. Recalculate the depreciation charge for the year end. So basically, I'm talking about the last point over here. To ensure that for assets revalued during the year, of course, because see, whenever we're talking about depreciation, whenever revaluation happens, we also need to increase or decrease the depreciation according to the new revalued amount. All right. So if, for example, the amount at which we were depreciating was 100 previously, now it has been revalued to 150. So we have to make sure that we are doing 10% of 150 only and not 100, right? So that is the reason I'm recalculating the depreciation charge to ensure that assets revalued during the year, the depreciation were based on the correct valuation. So it's based on 150 and not 100. And for the warehouse addition, the charge was for 9 months. Why 9 months? September. I think September starting. Purchase in September. So September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So you get 9 months. September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. 9 months, right? So it has to be for 9 months only to ensure accuracy of the amount mentioned. So from September to May, it has to be mentioned, not before that, because the warehouse were purchased in September only, and this is what is meant by pro rata basis. So this is what I took from the question only, that they are revaluing. So I'm making sure the depreciation is based on the revalued amount only, and the warehouse is only being charged for 9 months and not more than that, so that my amounts are accurate, right? So here also, if you see, what is recalculation? Verb. Why is your accuracy, which is the assertion, and how are you going to do so? This is how you are going to do so. Perfect. Let's move next. Inspect the now external valuation. We got to know here another point. Inspect the external valuer's report for all the properties revalued this year to confirm the valuation basis and key assumptions are reasonable. So because we also need to understand how he is revaluing the assets, right? So we also need to make sure that whatever assumptions and the basis, the valuation basis that he is saying, that's also reasonable and also correct. So we need to, that is what we are going to inspect. So this is specific to the case because we're talking about the external valuer. 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark. Next, evaluate the competence. Now we got to know that there will be an external valuer. So we are going to check the competence and independence of the external valuer appointed by Walker Company by reviewing the qualifications, experience, and independent declarations to ensure valuation done by him or her is reasonable. This is again general made specific because I am more so talking in terms of the company over here. So this is again 1 mark. Next, general to specific. Again, let's read this one also. agree the revalued amount. So whatever revaluation I have done in the financial statements, I will agree, I will compare, I will check it with the valuer's report. So whatever he has valued, supposing he has given me value of 100. In my financial statement, the value is 80. So I am not able to compare these two. So I need to make sure that they are on same page. My financial statements and my valuer, the expert valuer, is on the same page to ensure that valuation has been recorded in full and accurately. So it is full, it is complete, and it is accurate also. So it is general made specific. Third point done. Next, check whether all the land and buildings. So again, you people already know that whenever we are doing a revaluation, all the classes of the assets have to be revalued together, right? So check whether all assets and buildings are revalued on rolling 5-year basis. Again, using the same words from here, rolling 5-year basis. As per Walker Company's policy, ensuring consistent application of the revaluation model to correct value, to ensure correct valuation. So it has to be consistently applied to all the classes of the assets. So again, case specific. Next, recalculate the depreciation charge of revalued buildings if ensuring it reflects the revised carrying amount, and pro rata depreciation policy to ensure the accuracy. So again, I'm going to recalculate my depreciation, which is for your revalued buildings, for your warehouse, the actual amount that should be done on the pro rata basis to ensure that it is accurate only, right? Next one, verify the purchase of warehouse in September. So this told that we purchased in September over here. They told, right? Here. September 2004. So I'm writing that only. By agreeing to the purchase deed, payment records, legal title to confirm rights and obligations. Now this is again general. If you check out, people have written this as general. But what I've done is I've used the word warehouse, case specific, September 24, case specific. So with this, it makes it more case specific. So if you check out, this is a very general procedure, but I have included these two words to make it more case specific, right? So this is also how you people also can do. Check the warehouse has been included in the revaluation process. So whatever we'll check the warehouse which is there in the revaluation process. If not, confirm whether this aligns with the rolling 5-year revaluation schedule to ensure the completed. Just to make sure that everything is complete or no. Next, recalculate depreciation on newly purchased warehouse from the date of the acquisition September to confirm prorated depreciation is applied correctly to ensure it's accurate. So again, prorata basis correctly applied last, which is your general one, which is IS 16. So you can actually add so many case specific with just small paragraph, 3-liner paragraph, and so many case specific procedures you can write. So it's just doing hard work, doing a lot of practice can make you perfect in substandard procedures. Nobody can beat you if you are following this approach. This is my guarantee to you, right? Let's move to the next one now. Question number 24. All right. Now it is asking for a director's remuneration disclosed in the financial statements. It's a 4-marker question. Let's read the case study first. Director's remuneration. Walker Company's board is comprised of 6 directors. So let's highlight all the key points that we can gather. All right. 6 directors. Their overall remuneration has 2 elements. So 2 elements: an annual salary paid monthly. Of course, salaries are always paid monthly, and a significant annual bonus paid on 15th of May. So our year end is 31st of May, and they pay the bonus on 15th of May every year annually. All the remuneration paid to, so how many? 6 directors, 1, 2 elements, 2, bonus paid on 15th May, 3. All remuneration paid to directors is included within wages and salaries. Fourth, local legislation requires disclosure of the overall total of directors' remuneration analyzed by element and by director. So it requires a breakdown of it by the element and by the director also. The separate disclosure has to be done. So that's 5th point. So 5 points we were able to identify from here. One thing which is not really related to your substandard procedures, but I really want to talk it out over here. So in the question, if you see, it says that all the remuneration paid to directors is recorded within wages and salaries. If this was an audit risk question, guys, recording in wages and salaries is not a problem, because ultimately what is remuneration? Remuneration is salary to directors, right? And wages and salaries contain the salaries for everybody. right? So it is not an audit risk. I've seen certain scripts when people are saying it should not be recorded in wages and salaries, it should be a part of something else that they state, which is not correct. The issue, the risk that could arise over here, the audit risk that could arise over here is about the local legislation, that probably they're not complying with the local legislation, due to which there can be fines and penalties as per I-37 provisions, etc. You can talk about. But wages and salaries is absolutely correct. There's no issue in wages and salaries, because remunerations, other word is salaries only, right? Okay, let's move to my answer. It's a 4 marker, so not more than 5 to 6 minutes when we are practicing. Let's see. So it's a 4 marker, technically four. I have written seven. Let's see. We'll again talk about the specific one only. General, not so much. Let's see. Obtain a schedule of directors' remuneration split by salary. Now we got to know over here that there are two elements. One is salary and one is annual bonus, which is paid on 15th of May. So we'll say that we will split by salary and bonus paid in May. So you can also add 15 May and cast the schedule to confirm accuracy. Now guys, wait over here. If you see, this was a general substantive procedure. Obtain the schedule of director remuneration. If I would have not included this particular thing over here, so sorry, over here, and I would have written obtain schedule of directors. Let me highlight it with some other color for you. This portion, obtain schedule of directors remuneration, cast the schedule to confirm the accuracy. This was a general one, you all would agree. What I have done, I have played smart and I have said that split also, split with salary and bonus paid in 15th of May, and then cast the schedule to confirm the accuracy. So I was in my head, I had learned a general substantive procedure, but I know I do not have to write the general one, I have to make it case specific. So I use these words into my general one only to make it case specific. This is what I am telling you people, to make it case specific as much as you can, and it's not a tough job at all. How tough was it to include these words into the same statement? I don't think so it was tough enough. You will get 1 mark for this one. All right, next, agree a sample of individual monthly salary payment. So we got to know that they are getting their the salaries paid monthly, and the bonus paid in May to the payroll records to ensure accuracy. Again, this was again general. How it was general? Let's see. Agree a sample of the salary to the payroll records to ensure accuracy. I included this particular thing over here, that individual salary and the bonus paid in May, include these two words again in the general ones to make it case specific. So these are general procedures made case specific. These are not purely case specific. These are general made specific, which is your job to do. And I don't think it's as difficult as you people think it is. Next one. Review the disclosures regarding, again, they are saying that we have to put a disclosures for the overall total of director's remuneration analyzed by element and by director. So we need to see, we'll review if they have done it or no. Disclosure regarding the director remuneration of overall total XYZ, whatever they have written, copy pasted, and assess where they comply with the local legislation to ensure the compliance. So I'll just review. I'll see if they have complied with the same thing that they have told me that they have to comply, and check if the compliance has been followed or no. So this is case specific. Next, agree the monthly salaries paid to each of the 6 directors. So now they told me that there are 6 directors. So I will agree the 6 director salaries to the payroll records and contracts to confirm the accuracy and completeness of this. So I'm just checking that all the 6 directors received the salary or no, to check its completeness and the accuracy of the amounts as well. So again, use the same words from the question, put it in the general procedures, making it case specific. I am smart. You people can also be smart. All right, next one. Verify the significant annual bonus, which is paid on 15th of May by inspecting the bank transfers. Because of course, if I'm paying the bonuses, I'm paying it by bank transfer only to my employees, and right? And bonus approval documents to ensure it's fully included in the wages and salaries to ensure accuracy of this. See, I've written that it should be fully included within wages and salaries, which is a correct accounting treatment, right? So you are just verifying that whatever bonuses you have paid to the employees as well as the annual salary, that's correctly recognized in the wages and salaries or no, to ensure the accuracy of the bonus amount, right? 1 mark. Next, Review payroll listing to ensure, I think this is case, oh my God, okay. Review payroll listing to ensure all payments made to directors are classified within wages and salaries, consistent with Walker's company accounting treatment to ensure correct classification. So it has to be in correct classification in regards to your wages and salaries also. Inspect board minutes for approval of directors' annual salary packages and bonuses to confirm the validity and authorization. This is very general, right? So this is how you can make it very, very case specific. I don't think so, guys, it's very difficult for you to make it case specific procedures. It's just the matter of practice, it's just the matter of hard work, it's just the matter of that you are willing to take it seriously. अगर आप ये सोच के बैठ जाओगे कि substantive procedures बहुत difficult है, मेरे को नहीं समझ आ रहा है, बहुत difficult है, नहीं समझ आ रहा है, तो नहीं ही आएंगे समझ. आपको भी एफर्ट्स डालने पड़ेंगे इक्वली उसमें उसको समझने के लिए. सो इफ यू आर एबल, जस्ट इट्स एज सिंपल एज आई हैव टोल्ड यू. इसके अलावा you don't have to do anything else with substantive procedures. I hope I was clear with this question. 3 questions I've done for substantive procedures, like these 3 questions. I hope all of the 3 parts are clear. Let's move to the last part of the question, which is in regards to your reporting. Let's read. Okay. You have reviewed the disclosures of the financial statements, so disclosures in regarding to this. So they said that we have to have a disclosure. So now you have reviewed, and the director's remuneration is shown as overall total and not analyzed by element or director. So they have not technically followed this particular thing, which is a red flag. The finance director has confirmed that the directors are not willing to adjust the draft financial statement. So now they are not also going to adjust. So now they're saying describe the issue. Okay, wait. Pause. It says describe the issue, one requirement, and describe the impact on auditor's report, second question. If any, should this issue remain unresolved? Now, a lot of people come up to me because I have a certain way of answering every question. I will show you for this question also. I say that you always have to give a case background to the question. And I say that will fetch you 1 mark. A lot of people come up to me and say that, ma'am, no, the background is not necessary. We can simply state that this is material. How students write it? This is material. This is going to lead to qualified opinion, basis for qualified opinion. Simple, khatam. What about this, guys? How are you going to justify this? They are saying that you have to first discuss the issue. So when you are not talking about case background, when you're not talking about this thing, you're not discussing this, how are you going to get marks? I fail to understand those students. So isliye I always, because I am somebody who only follows the examiner reports. I am sure believer of examiner reports. And once you open examiner reports, all your questions will be answered very easily, right? So let me show you how I answer. If you want to follow, you can. Don't want to follow, up to you. Okay. All right. So first of all, I always discuss the issue because that is what my question is saying. Discuss the issue. So I am discussing the issue. The local legislation requires that the disclosure of overall total of directors' remuneration is analyzed by elements and by directors. So I'm saying that local legislation requires this. All right. But Walker company has not followed the same, and the management should now take steps to include specific details in the disclosure notes. And you can also add that they are not doing the same. You can also include that line. This is going to fetch you 1 mark. All right. Then you talk about materiality. Materiality is really very, very essential, guys. So you talk about materiality as a local legislation has not been followed. Transactions with directors are material by nature. Of course, no amount is given because it's a matter of compliance. So material by nature, there is material misstatement in the financial statements. If you're not writing materiality, this 1 mark straight away gone. 2 marks out of 5 you have gotten. Next. Then we talk about the impact. If the issue is not resolved, Waddle company would issue a modified audit opinion as the non-disclosure is material but not pervasive. It's not pervasive, it's just material. So 1 point for this, another point for this. A qualified audit opinion would be appropriate. The opinion paragraph would be except for, because except for this thing, everything else is okay. So if you're not writing these 3 keywords, this 2 marks, you're not going to score full. And then you're going to talk about the basis for qualified opinion, which is again in the reporting also, we have qualified opinion paragraph, then basis for qualified opinion. Again, if you're skipping this portion, this 1 mark straight away gone. Now I will tell you the common mistakes that students usually do in this particular portion. They miss on, of course, this case background, that definitely miss. 1 mark gone out of 5. This basis for qualified opinion paragraph also 80% students miss on, losing out 1 mark. 3 marks you're only left with over here, and those 3 marks you'll only get if you read this completely and materiality is also calculated completely and correctly also. So I hope the formatting you have understood. You have understood presentation. You have understood how to write the answers. You have understood how to write the substantive procedures also. Please let me know in case you face any doubts, any questions, and all the very, very, very best for your December 25 attempt. Just do your hard work, no shortcuts. You still have a lot of time to prepare for the exam. And in case you have any doubts, you want to reach out to me in case of any doubts, any assistance you need from my end. These are my details. You can reach us out on Instagram, on WhatsApp, here on YouTube also. You can comment down. LinkedIn also is available. Everywhere we are there to help you and to mentor you. All the very best.